Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. Today we're unpacking this beautifully crafted story that's literally going to help you master some advanced English vocabulary. But more importantly, it's going to profoundly shift how you view progress, patience, and, well, those quiet, silent phases in your own life. We'll be looking at the really powerful allegory of an aging gardener. Okay, let's dive into this. I want you to just picture it, the deepest, darkest part of winter. The air is absolutely freezing, the trees are completely bare, and the ground, it's rock solid. Now, most people, they look at that biting winter landscape and they see an ending. They see a season of loss, a time when everything just stops. They look at a winter garden and see a silent graveyard. But I want to ask you something, and I want you to really think about it. What if I told you that beneath that frozen, biting ground, life isn't actually dying at all? It's preparing. And that right there, that is the core mindset shift we are exploring today. It's not an ending, it's a totally vital phase of preparation. What looks like death and defeat on the surface is actually this incredibly busy, essential period of gathering strength. This simple idea, finding massive potential in absolute stillness, well, that's the whole foundation of our story today. So let's set the scene with part 1, the frozen garden. Picture a quiet village just battered by cold winds. There lives an old gardener named Hassan Ali, and his garden is completely covered in frost. As the villagers walk past his plot of land, they're just totally dismissive. They see a silent graveyard and tell him, "Your garden's gone, man. There's nothing left." But Hassan, he just smiles. He keeps visiting every single day, even on the absolute coldest mornings. Why? And this brilliantly illustrates the difference in perspective. Because Hassan sees what they don't. Roots resting and gathering strength. He understands exactly what's happening beneath the surface. Now, to truly appreciate what Hassan is actually up against here, let's pause for a second and master some of the language used to describe this environment. Our first word is frost. Frost is literally just a thin layer of ice that forms on the ground and other surfaces when the temperature drops below freezing. It's exactly what's covering Hassan's garden, totally masking all the vibrant life that used to be there and creating that illusion of death. But what's really fascinating is the biological term for what those plants are actually doing. Dormancy. Dormancy is simply a period when growth stops temporarily. The plants haven't died, no. They've just entered this strategic state of rest. So you might say plants enter dormancy during winter. It's basically a survival mechanism, a way to protect themselves from the extreme cold until conditions are right for growth again. Next up, we have soil. Soil is the earth where plants grow. It's the very foundation of the garden. In our story, the soil right now is hard and unforgiving, locking those rusting roots safely away from the brutal wind and ice above. And that brings us to the word harsh. Harsh means very cold or very difficult. It perfectly describes both the biting winter weather Hassan is dealing with, and honestly, it really describes those difficult, silent seasons in our own lives, right? Those times when progress feels impossible and everything just feels kind of frozen. Which takes us right into part 2, the hidden life. So, as Hassan faithfully visits his harsh garden day after day, a young boy actually approaches him and asks, "Why do you still come here? Nothing's growing." Hassan touches the frozen soil and tells the boy to look closer. The boy is completely confused. He asks, "How can something grow in silence?" And Hassan just smiles and delivers this profound truth. Growth does not always make noise. I want to take a moment of pause right here just to let that really sink in. The unseen preparation happening in the dark is just as important as the blooming flower we see in the sun. Let's turn this beautiful concept into some active practice for you. Whether you're learning English, mastering a new skill, or working towards a big life goal, I want you to actually read these affirmations out loud with me right now. Speak slowly and really feel the meaning behind each word. Ready? Growth takes time. Silence builds strength. I am preparing even when nothing shows. Make sure to keep these phrases in your mind whenever you feel like your own progress is invisible. Now, let's shift gears a bit and explore part 3, the science of stillness. You see, Hassan doesn't just give the boy poetic advice. He teaches him real, actual biological mechanisms. He explains that in winter, plants are conserving their energy. They're pulling everything down into their roots to protect their core. He introduces the concept of germination, which is the exact moment when a seed begins to grow and sprout. That long, quiet winter, it's actually storing up the specific energy required for this miraculous event. The stillness is literally fueling the future germination. He also teaches the boy about resilience. Resilience is the ability to recover from difficulties, to bounce back. By surviving that freezing, harsh winter in a state of dormancy, the plants are building their resilience. They're proving that they can endure the dark times. And wow, this is just such a powerful parallel to the emotional resilience we build during our own invisible struggles. And then there's cultivation. Cultivation is the overall process of growing plants or nurturing something to health. What Hassan is showing the boy is that true cultivation isn't just about watering a plant in the sunshine. Not at all. Cultivation requires the patience to allow a plant to rest. It requires trusting the process, even when the garden looks like a total graveyard. Hassan concludes his lesson to the boy with this really definitive statement: and without dormancy, there is no spring. So the crucial point is this: rest isn't just a break from the work of growing. Rest is an absolute biological requirement for future blooming. You simply cannot have that explosion of life in the spring without the silent, energy-conserving rest of the winter. As we approach the climax of Hassan's story, let's equip you with some more advanced vocabulary to describe the incredible change that's about to happen. First, inevitable, meaning certain to happen. Because Hassan knows nature, he knows spring is absolutely inevitable. Next, endure, to continue through difficulty. The plants must endure the frost. Then we have flourish, to grow successfully. After the rest, the garden will flourish. And finally, transformation, a complete change. This is what happens when winter finally ends. Try using these words to describe your own journey, like, if I endure the difficult practice, my skills will inevitably flourish, leading to a total transformation. Equipped with that vocabulary, we arrive at part 4, the return of spring. As Hassan promised, weeks eventually pass. Nature's timeline is incredibly precise. Let's move to the timeline and see how this builds. In week 1, the bitter, biting cold finally fades. In week 2, the snow melts away, providing deep hydration to those resting roots. In week 3, the magic happens. Small, tiny green shoots break through the surface of the soil. And by week 4, life completely explodes. Vibrant colors return, and the garden is entirely awake. The villagers, who had literally mocked Hassan and called his garden a graveyard, are absolutely amazed. They rush up to him, looking at the vibrant colors, and they ask, "How did this happen?" And Hassan, with the calm patience of someone who understood the process all along, simply replies, "It was always happening, you just couldn't see it." The preparation was real, it was continuous, and it was highly productive, even when it was completely invisible. So, what does this all mean for us? What are our key takeaways from Hassan's incredible winter garden? Well, first, growth is not always visible. Just because you can't see the results of your hard work today doesn't mean it isn't working. Second, silence does not mean failure. A quiet phase in your life or your learning journey is not a graveyard. It's a phase of gathering strength. And third, rest is a crucial part of progress. You absolutely must allow yourself periods of dormancy so that you have the energy to eventually flourish. Winter is not an ending, it is preparation for something beautiful. I want to leave you with this final, powerful thought today. As you go about your week, whether you're studying, working, or maybe just trying to get through a difficult season, remember this: even in your quietest moments, you are still growing. But I have to ask you, what frozen garden in your own life are you giving up on right now just because you can't see the roots working beneath the surface? Trust your unseen preparation and know for sure that your spring is inevitable. Thank you so much for joining me in today's Explainer.